Dear brothers and sisters of the world, in this last and final piece of this particular topic, we're going to talk about the wrong statistics given by Dr. Zakir Naik and how his argument actually boomerangs.
There are people dying due to accidents, due to alcoholism, due to war. There are more males dying as compared to females. Today, if you analyze in the world, there are more females in the world as compared to males. There are few third world countries like India where the male population is more than the female population. And do you know why? The reason is because of female feticide and female infanticide. According to an article, a program which came on BBC by the name Let Her Die, the program was assignment. There was a British reporter by the name of Emily Buchanan. She comes to India and she says that every year in India, more than 1 million fetuses are being aborted after they identified that they're females. She says more than 3,000 every day. You multiply, more than 1 million every year. According to the Tamil Nadu government hospital report, she gives the statistics, out of 10 female born alive, do you know how many are put to death? 4. Sister, did you know that? Tamil Nadu, your state, your beloved state, according to the government statistics, out of 10 females born alive in the government hospital, 4 are put to death. There are billboards put in Rajasthan and here, which says that spend 500 rupees and save 500,000 rupees. You know what does it indicate? Spend 500 rupees, do ultrasonography, do amniocentesis, identify the child you're carrying is a female, abort her, and save 5 lakh rupees, 500,000 rupees. Maybe a couple of 100,000 of bringing her and the remaining 100,000 in dowry. If you stop this evil practice in India, our beloved country, stop the female infanticide, stop the female feticide. Even in India, the population of female will be more than the male population. If you see the rest of the world, if you see New York alone, there are 1 million females more than males. In USA alone, there are 7.8 million females more than males. In UK alone, there are 4 million females more than males. In Germany alone, there are 5 million females more than males. In Russia alone, there are 9 million females more than males. And God alone knows how many millions of females are more than males throughout the world. Suppose I agree with your philosophy, sister, you said, 1 man, 1 woman. If I agree with you, sister, with your philosophy, 1 man, 1 woman. And suppose my sister happens to be in America, or your sister happens to live in America. And suppose the market is saturated. 1 man, 1 woman, saturated. Yet there will be 7.8 million females who will not find life partners. 1 man, 1 woman. Now the option for these 7.8 million females is either marry a man who already has a wife or become public property. You say, Dr. Zakir Naik, public property, such a harsh word. Sister, it is the most sophisticated word I can use. I cannot use the most sophisticated word.
He says there are more males dying as compared to females and etc. etc. He used a long piece of argument and we're going to talk about that. And this is a mischievous and illogical argument. There are many defects in this argument. Number 1, first, let us take India. Agreed that due to feticide, there are more males than females. Now, by the same argument and logic of Dr. Zakir Naik, in India, if one man, 1 woman, and after the market is saturated, there will be millions of men left out. So what are the choices for these men? Marry a woman who already has a husband or become a public property. The most sophisticated word that can be used. Also, under these circumstances, the law in India should be should pertain to Indian conditions and so should not allow Muslims in India to have more than one wife. And so, for all Indians, including Muslims, polyandry, women having more than one husband, should be allowed. Is this not an absurd position? So, this saturated market and need to become the spouse of a married one can turn out to be disastrous. Number two, picking a life partner is not like picking a vegetable in the supermarket. There are many situations where both men and women did not find a spouse. Even if that were painful, those people remained singles without becoming public property and without losing morals. Is that not possible? Now, please see the URL in Wikipedia where they have given the list of countries by sex ratio. In America, under 15, the male to female ratio is 1.04 to 1. And for 15 to 64, male to female ratio is 1.07 to 1. This means over 7 million men more than women. The total has males to females 0.97 to 1, and that's because over 65 has males to females 0.75 to 1. If a 70-year-old female is left out after the saturation point, will she be asked to become a second wife of a 20-year-old man? Why? Because after a complete match, more females are left out in 65 plus group and more males are left out in 15 to 64 group. So according to the solution suggested by Dr. Zakir Naik, the 65 plus woman will have to marry a 15 to 64 man. Now the marriage proportion is for under 65 practically, as there are more males for under 65. The above argument of Dr. Zakir Naik about man marrying more women will boomerang and result in saying, what are the choices for millions of men left out in 15 to 64 group? Marry a woman who already has a husband or become a public property. The most sophisticated word that can be used. This argument, which indeed is an inversion of his, holds in America as well, not just India. So Dr. Zakir Naik will now be forced to say that God did not know the future in America as well. In fact, the same argument for the age group of 15 to 64 holds for many other countries, including Afghanistan, Albania, Australia, Belgium, Bhutan, Canada, Germany, United Kingdom, Israel, Libya, Palestine, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, etc. What is interesting is the following is the very interesting. In India, with all the infanticide, the ratio of males to females for 15 to 64 age group is 1.13 to 1. That is about 85.5 million more males in India. So according to his logic, polyandry has to be allowed in India. What is this disaster? In Kuwait, the males to female ratio is 1.78 to 1, meaning in a small country with total population of 4.25 million, 1.19 million more males. In Qatar, the males to female ratio is 2.46 to 1, meaning in a small country with total population of 2.688 million, 1.13 million more males. In UAE, the males to female ratio is 2.74 to 1, meaning in a small country with total population of 9.365 million, 4.36 million more males. One can imagine how grave the situation there is. According to the logic of Dr. Zakir Naik, there is a grave need of polyandry in these countries. What a disaster. So, according to the logic of Dr. Zakir Naik, Islam and God had absolutely no clue of this happening in these countries. You know what? In these countries, which are majorly Islamic, if one man marries more women, the situation will become even worse. For USA population of 332 million, 7.8 million is not a big number, even with the twisted statistics of Dr. Zakir Naik. I have given the statistics as per the data when it was split into under 15 and 15 to 64 and total. And when I first prepared this response a few years ago, this was what the case. Now, that means the same Wikipedia site, have given more refined splits at birth 0 to 14, 15 to 24, 25 to 54, 55 to 64, over 65, and total. My arguments hold good with that refinement and a bit more recent numbers as well. Such arguments of Dr. Zakir Naik are double-edged swords. Under current conditions itself, the inversion of his argument happens in many countries. In addition, say due to some unpredictable reasons, 1,000 years from now, if there are 4 men for 1 woman, what will happen to this kind of logic? He says, we don't know the future. God knows the future. However, God did not know about the feticide that was going to happen in India. What is worse? Even without any feticide, many countries face the inverse situation. More males than females in 15 to 64 age group. What happened to Islam and God? That's why it will be wise for a religious text to leave certain social things to common sense and social, political, and individual judgment. If a religious text pokes its nose where it should not, some will surely ask a question. If a man can marry more than one woman, why can't a woman marry more than one man? Another argument that's brought up for this by Dr. Zakir Naik is, if a man marries multiple women and when a child is born, both father and mother are known. But when woman has more than one husband, the father is not known. It's silly that people clap for this without even realizing that with modern technology, it is a breeze. By doing paternity tests on all the husbands, it can be pinpointed. Then he has a question. What happens in olden days when the technology was not there? Even in olden days, when technology was not there, theoretically it is possible. When one woman marries more than one man, each man can live, say, for 1 year in rotation with a common wife, whereby the father can be known. Moreover, that's not at all the point. Note that I am not at all recommending polyandry. I am indicating how such arguments can become double-edged sword and can lead to disastrous conclusion. One must realize the heart of the question. It's a deplorable argument that after one-to-one match is done, several women will be left out, and to take care of them, Quran has given the solution. As shown above, in many countries, when under 65 is taken, males exceed females. So the heart of the question is that in the society, as it is, females are put at a disadvantage and the religious text by trespassing into the social realm makes it worse only. There are many cases of some bad men kidnapping women and running brothels. How many instances are there of some bad men kidnapping men and running similar things? The solution for the problem of women is to bring change in the thinking process of men rather than the religious texts trespassing into social situation. Presenting misguiding statistical figures to confuse people is not the right approach. The argument of reaching a saturation point is really bogus. So much for the claim that Quran is the only religious scripture on the face of the earth, which is correct in current topic of marriage from Dr. Zakir Naik's logic itself. Islam alone is not right by committing the mistakes as explained in this whole series. Thank you.